beard can frustrate with reckless efficiency.
Harden and 1. Count 4.
Uncle Drew innovates with video game type moves.
The backboard sorcery.
Do you have any idea how hard the shot is that he just made?
But to win the title, you need a bit of magic. To be fearless with all rivals, ignite a revolution, and drill big shots. Harden, Kyrie.
This is what we wanted. 2 of the best going at it.
Playoff progression continues. Rockets Celtics next.
Welcome to NBA Countdown, presented by Straight Talk Wireless.
Big shot with the voiceover. Inside Studio H.
That was a great opening.
I can read a little bit.
The big 3, represented, of course. Chauncey Billups, Jalen Rose, Paul Pierce. My name's Michelle Beadle. 2 of the best offensive players in the league go head-to-head this afternoon. Impending free agent Kyrie Irving for the Celtics. MVP candidate James Harden for the Rockets. Their teams are both running a somewhat disappointing 5th in their conferences, and both seen as capable of so much more. Let's tackle the Celtics first. They finished February 5-6, only 2 wins in the last 8 games. They finished ranked 17th in net rating, behind Minnesota and Chicago. And Celtics co-owner Whit Grousbeck said Saturday that this has been, quote, the worst February he can remember. Paul, do you agree?
I don't agree. Because in 2006, 2007, that was in the middle of our 18-game losing streak. Which we didn't.
I lost for the whole month?
Which I think we lost for the whole month, which we didn't make the playoffs. At least this team is going somewhere, and they have time to turn it around.
That's fair. So much is being talked about struggles, whose fault, who's what. We don't hear a lot about Brad Stevens. Where does he stand as far as the blame is concerned?
Well, look, I think we all anointed Brad Stevens best coach in the league too early the last couple of years. And he is a terrific, terrific coach. And he deserves some of the responsibility. But here's what I love. One of the many things that I love, actually, about Coach Stevens. He steps up and raises his hand, and I've heard him several times this year say, listen, it's my fault. I have to be better, and I just haven't done a good job with this group. I love that. And as a player, if I was on that team, I love a guy that can raise his hand and say, I got to be better. As the leader, he does that, and it should, it should wash down through the rest of the players, but it hasn't thus far. But I love Coach Stevens for that.
I want to show the standings before I ask you something, Jalen, real quick. As far as the East is concerned right now, they are 5th. They do have an opportunity to move up as high as possibly 3rd. Westgate right now has them at a 14-1 odds to win the title, 3-1 to come out of the East. And obviously there are many teams that are in that running, Jalen. Where do you have Boston amongst them?
I'm done making excuses for Paul Pierce's talent-laden Boston Celtics that have underachieved the entire year. I felt like many people, when you add Kyrie and Gordon Hayward to a team to make it to conference finals, they should be ready to take the next leap. Michelle Beadle, right now, I feel like the Boston Celtics, the best thing that's happened to them is that Oladipo got injured. That's how I feel about the Celtics, because they're not on the level of the Bucks, not on the level of the Raptors. Even though they've owned the Sixers, I feel like the Sixers will have their way in the playoff or should be favorite. So these Celtics, I feel like, will not meet expectations.
Well, the reason they're not at the level they're supposed to be at, 2 things. Kyrie, if the Celtics were going to be a contender in the East, he would have had to turn into an MVP candidate, a top 5 MVP candidate, which he is not in that category right now. Another thing, we would have had to see Jason Tatum or maybe even Jalen Brown emerge into an all-star. So if those things had happened this year, best believe the Celtics will be right where people predicted them to be, and that would be at the top of the East. But those guys didn't take that step, that leap this year. And that's why they're at where they're at.
And Al Horford was an all-star last year, but he's not.
A lot of people predicted 4 all-stars for the Celtics before the season. We're not seeing that.
You know what? I like you to admit that. That's very good of you. A lot of people did. You're not the only one. Can we get some happy birthdays? Sing them. Sing it.
Happy birthday.
I was going to say, we're going to do Stevie Wonder.
Happy birthday.
Officially drinking age today.
Happy birthday.
The Rockets.
That don't sound like a Motown Detroit voice, Jalen.
That was really awful. And do the Rockets now have 2 gears to success? The details next on if Houston is better moving the ball or with Harden making all the moves.
Get down on it.
MVP, but how does he feel about a repeat performance? Rachel Nichols got to ask him about it in our Straight Talk soundbite.
You have said that you want the MVP again this season. Make your case to me. Why do you deserve it?
What do you mean? Just look at all what we've had to go through when you put, any other guy in this situation that I've been in, and they probably wouldn't be here in the same situation, And so we got a chance to get to that, top 3 seed in the West, which we all know how difficult that is. But I mean, that conversation of being in the MVP is something that's my goal every year, and it's been the goal since the last, 5 years.
Fair enough. Not everyone will admit that. He wants another MVP. Who's your choice right now?
James Harden, you don't have to tell everybody what you're doing. We're watching it. I got the beard.
Okay.
While I agree with everything Harden is saying, I have to go with Giannis for the simple fact no one had Milwaukee being at the top of not only the East but the league at this point in the season.
I agree. I know where you're going, but it's not necessarily a team award, though you got to factor winning in. And I like to think about the Heisman Trophy. For me, Harden has had more wow moments. Okay, like 50-point games with 10 assists, 40-point games, the 30-point streaks. So I think he's had to do something that made it a little more outstanding. But they're 1A and 1B.
He has the zhuzh.
But we based this award over the years based on team performance and individual performance, and they go hand in hand. Based on the criteria, best team, best player. I'm just saying.
Well, I want to stick with the Rockets for a second because obviously CP3 and Capella have both returned, and they have improved. How exactly, Chauncey?
In so many ways, Beads, but we were very critical of this team early on. I mean, really were. They were really, really underachieving. They started to pick it up. We'll go to the tape right here for the court vision, but they've made a 100-degree turn in terms of the spirit of the team. And here's how. Rockets ball movement. Now, look at James. He advances the ball right here, but a lot of times he gets that outlet and nobody else touches the ball. Well, there's been a shift now. Look how many passes they make. Chris Paul gets into the middle of the paint where he can obviously knock down that shot, but swing. And now you get it to James when he can ISO real quick when the defense can't come and double team. They move in the basketball. That's 7 passes on one play. We haven't seen them do that. Now you look at multiple efforts defensively. You look at the switch right there. Now you look at Eric Gordon coming over to help right there. Nice job by Manimal taking away that baseline pass. PJ helps him. James helps him. And now Chris does a good job of contesting without fouling, and they collect a rebound. That's 7 efforts. And the beard, the most interesting offensive player in the world. He gets in his bag right here. Now, if all else fails, just give the beard the ball. And he can go get you 60 on any given night. So the spirit of this team has changed with them just being not only cohesive, but sharing the basketball and being unselfish on both ends of the floor.
Okay.
Sharing the basketball. That's why James got the most dribbles in the league history.
Yeah, and you've seen 7 passes right there.
He did show you that.
That's a team high.
Wait,
that's what they've been doing lately.
If they're going to threaten the league, if they're going to really pose a threat to this Golden State Warriors team and then moving on after that, would you rather see a team that has Harden scoring 40, 50, even 60 points, as you said, or the more balanced option?
40 points plus. This is when they're at their best. This is what they've been doing all year. This is what the team system is. This is what they're accustomed to. The team is 17-6 when he scores 40 plus. Do you know what they are when he scores under 40? The team is only 18-17. So right there tells you they're a better team when he's out there getting buckets.
These finals MVPs know this as well as anyone. What you're able to do in the regular season, what you're able to do in the postseason are way different. And so you can get away with that ISO ball, leading the league in dribbles, and all of that stuff. But in the playoffs, teams are going to lock in. It's the team dynamic. You got to swing the ball back and forth like Chauncey just broke down. Chris Paul has to be a factor. When they were at their best last year, like both of these guys were flirting with 10 assists on a nightly basis. The Manimal has really helped them out a lot, Kenneth Faried. But I think James Harden has to rely on the guys around him to make the game a lot easier.
I just don't see how you change your style of play once the playoffs start, though. This is how they play.
Well, I want to throw the standings up there as a reminder. The Rockets right now, a game out of third, along with Utah, hottest team in the conference over the last 10 games, including 4 straight wins. And they, just like their opponent today, 14-1 odds to win it all, 4th best in the NBA. Jalen, Denver's had a great season, a little sluggish lately. You've got OKC, who's lost 4 in a row. Paul George, a little dinged up. Right now, how would you rank this Rockets squad?
I think the Rockets and OKC are the two teams I give the best chance to upend the Golden State Warriors or take them to a long series because they both have two savvy veterans that they can rely on. That each team has an MVP, and then obviously you have Chris Paul and Paul George now playing at an MVP level. So I trust them in the playoffs. For the Nuggets, to me, it's going to be a lot to do with home court advantage and matchups if they're able to possibly make it to the conference finals.
Mr. Defense, you're the Celtics today on defense. What do you take away, or what do you try to take away from the game?
Well, you have to show James Harden some different coverages. First of all, you have to trap him sometimes. You have to sometimes just run a guy at him. He ISO. Sometimes, a lot of times when he gets trapped in a pick and roll, he just won't call a pick and roll. So he'll ISO. And if that happens, you have to fire a guy at him, which means just run a guy at him, no matter where that guy's coming from, just to make him think something different. Because as Paul said, when he gets 40, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
And he can get 40 on any given night.
Not let him get 40. Seems simple. SportsCenter tonight on ESPN after LAFC Sporting Kansas City with Steve Levy and John Anderson. Breaking down the NCAA field from top to bubble. Moments from soccer's opening weekend, MLS. And Antonio Brown reveals how his relationship with the Steelers soured. Oh, I think we know. SportsCenter, 10:30 Eastern on ESPN and the app. Coming up, Kyrie Irving is the most clutch player in the league. But is it more style than skill? Scoop Jackson gets all caffeinated. Talks about Kyrie's trend. He breaks it down. Chris Paul passing Karl Malone for 10th on the all-time steals list on Thursday. Next on the list, Spurs legend Alvin Robertson.
He had a mean dice game.
You may or may not be old enough to remember a character called Mars Blackman, hypothesizing that the thing that made Michael Jordan as great as he was just had to be the shoes. Flash forward 30 years, and the show-stopping exploits of Kyrie Irving. How does he do it? It's got to be the shirt tail. Here's Scoop Jackson.
How's it going? What can I get for you? Double espresso. Sure.
I have a medium black coffee.
Let's figure everything out.
What the? Things just ain't working out today. Nothing's going right. Maybe I need to do a Kyrie.
Hey, so you know what's about to happen?
Oh, I definitely know.
Yeah, because every time his jersey comes untucked, he goes into superhero mode. Like he knows that's his superpower.
Oh, behind the back move by Harden and score!
Untucked Kyrie is an alter ego. It's a superhero. When Peter Parker rips off the suit and becomes Spider-Man, when you untuck Kyrie's jersey, he becomes that superhero, that avenger of NBA basketball.
Vibranium to T'Challa, spinach to Popeye, Reggie Miller with seconds of going down. Game 3's in the finals to KD.
Irving puts it up. It's good! Kyrie Irving from downtown!
He turns into Super Kyrie. Crazy shots, doing impossible things. Latte for Becca, living that untucked life.
Kyrie, tough shot. Uncle Drew with another one.
In that game specifically, you knew every single time that he came down the floor, it was not only was he going to get a bucket, but he was going to make a mockery of every single person guarding him. And I swear it's only because he feels he's loose, because that jersey is untucked.
Untucked equals unguardable. Untucked means unstoppable.
I haven't found one NBA player yet that has been able to stop untucked Kyrie. But even LeBron, the Warriors, the only person who can stop untucked Kyrie is either Uncle Drew or another untucked Kyrie guarding him.
Go untucked, become a hero. I feel you, Kyrie. I feel you.
Scoop, you're silly. Now, of course, the NBA does not endorse the untucking of any article of clothing unless it happens during normal game action. So for Kyrie and the Celtics, that's sort of been the issue. The Celtics are 1-6 in their last 7 with Kyrie, 6-1 in their last 7 without, and that is regardless of the status of one's jersey. Paul, talk to me about the systems, the offensive system that will really showcase Kyrie as a winner.
I think we've already saw that in Cleveland, where he didn't have to be the main guy. I truly believe where if you create a system where Kyrie doesn't have to be the leading scorer, he can be that 1B guy. That's a system that we saw him be very successful in. Now all the pressure's on him, all the defense, all the scout report is just all about Kyrie. And it's tough for a small guard to lead a team to a championship. So if you could put him in the system to where maybe you have that other player who can be that
he's a 1B
scorer. I think he's a 1B for a championship team because he's already shown that. So maybe if one of these other Celtics can emerge as a 1A, a la Jason Tatum.
So Kyrie's not good enough to be the best player on a championship team is basically what you're saying.
But my belief always, Chauncey, you know this. I don't believe you're a point guard unless you're an all-time point guard, a la Magic, a la Isaiah.
You're looking at me saying this.
Steph Curry.
You're looking at me saying this. Huh?
Rare case.
2004.
Rare case. You and Tony Parker. Outside of that, Magic, Isaiah, Steph Curry, all-time guards. I don't think can be your best player to win a championship.
So I'm with you on this. So basically you're saying Steph is on a level,
yes,
Kyrie isn't.
All time. We already put Steph Curry on a top 3 or 4 all-time point guard status.
Then that begs the question. He is going to be a free agent. We put the numbers up with and without him on the court. What do you do if you're Boston?
To me, it's twofold because you can't, we talked about his greatness, right?
Yeah.
You can't just get that kind of talent anywhere. He's one of the greatest,
without a doubt,
most talented point guards we've ever seen. However, I do think if they go a different direction, they can be successful without Kyrie. I believe that as well. So it's twofold, in my opinion.
You still need a superstar to win in this league. Kyrie is a superstar. You need that. There's no way you win in this league without having that. Every final shows it. You need a top 5 player.
So I got a question for you, Paul, Mr. Celtic. You can answer it too. If you're Boston, if you had the opportunity to keep Kyrie or you have a shot at Anthony Davis, what do you do?
Anthony Davis.
I have to lean toward Anthony Davis because he
so they can go another route and still be successful
to win a championship. He is a top 5 player, a player that you need to win a championship in this league. History has shown that. Outside of what you did in Detroit, Detroit and San Antonio with Tony Parker.
I got you.
It just doesn't.
But what you guys are acknowledging, and rightfully so, that there's levels to this. So there's all-star players, they're all NBA players, they're MVP level players, and they're all-time great players.
Yes.
And so we kind of just slotted Kyrie. Here's the kind of issue that he's had in Boston. He came to a turnkey situation, had the most rings. People perceive the best GM, the best coach, the best young talent, and also the best assets for the draft. And he seems miserable there.
Right.
And so when they're a 5th seed, I feel like this is going to be a final season playing with that squad regardless of what the Celtics want to do.
New pastures. Well, he's not done yet because he will be facing LeBron. Celtics Lakers highlight next week's NBA Saturday primetime game presented by HyperX Gaming. Obviously, both teams struggling lately. It's an important matchup. Must win for one. Our coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 8, 5 Pacific on ABC. And as always, you can watch it on the app. Let's check out who is playing with confidence, brought to you by Toyota. It's Clint Capella, returning with confidence the last 5 games, 12 points, 12 boards, and a 4-1 record.
We got a backup pair of those earbuds. You always lose them at least once.
Crossover, got it! Harden with a step-back 3. Got another one. Shake and bake, and drills it. Now the crossover, now you're frozen. Kyrie Irving putting on a show. Harden with a cold-blooded 3. Man down. Oohs and ahs from the crowd.
That's what he does so well.
Time to go courtside for Rockets Celtics. So James Harden's lowest shooting percentage happens to be against the Celtics, Jalen. What is it that they do that does that for him?
You are your skill set, Michelle Beadle. And when I look at the Boston Celtics, I noticed something. They have lockdown defenders on the perimeter. Marcus Smart comes to mind, Jalen Brown. When he runs pick and roll actions, Al Horford is one of the better bigs in containing pick and roll ball handlers. So the Celtics do a really good job of making him play in the crowd.
And on the opposite side of that spectrum, Kyrie happens to average his second most against any team against the Rockets. You expect another good game?
Yeah, he always shows up in these type of games, especially on national television. I expect him to really step up tonight, but I don't see him scoring 26 to 30 points tonight. I think he's going to do a better job today at getting his teammates involved. Look to him to get double-digit assists today.
Ooh, double-digit
I'm going to look to Paul. I'm glad you said that. I'm going to look to Paul Pierce for a last-minute wager for us, please, and thank you.
Kyrie, how many assists will Kyrie have today?
13.
8.
7.
I'm going 9.
11.
11.
Take it easy, Kai.
The Rockets Celtics.
So low-key that you might not see me.
LeBron returned to the Lakers lineup on January 31st. They've since played 12 games. Mr. Activated and his squad have lost 8 of them. Rock bottom last night against the Suns, the worst team in the league. First quarter, Lakers trailing by 2. Rajon Rondo throws it up for James. Good leave. Lakers tie it at 15 apiece. Lakers down 13 now. James drives through defenders. Not just any layup, it was the layup that passed Kobe Bryant for 5th most field goals all time in NBA history. Second quarter, Kelly Oubre comes out of nowhere to get the miss. Josh Jackson the finish. Suns lead by 7. Third quarter down. Lakers down 5. Brandon Ingram, ball stripped away by Oubre Jr. Again, he takes it himself. Lakers down 7. Then the next play, keep an eye on Ingram and Kyle Kuzma. 3-point line, they stand there. Then they just stand there again. And then they watch DeAndre Ayton with the finish. Ayton said after the game was a fun game. I'm going to sleep well tonight. 26-10 for Ayton. And then LeBron just tries to inbound it and throws it off the backboard. Maybe that was the low point of the low point. But here come the Lakers, trailed by 19 in the fourth quarter, went on a little bit of a run. James knocks down the 3. Lakers within 8. In fact, from the 6-minute mark on, Lakers went on a run to get them within striking distance. Here's James again. Lakers pull within 3, 27 points, 9 rebounds, 16 assists. So down 5, 47 seconds left. LeBron at the line, misses the first free throw. Missed the second one. The Suns beat the Lakers 118-109. Dave McMenamin, what happened?
LeBron James was at a loss for words after this one. On the one hand, he told me he knew what he signed up for by coming to the Lakers. In the next breath, repeating his stance that young players don't know what it takes to make a playoff run. It's all perplexing right now.
Hey, listen, obviously we needed this game for obvious reasons. And we wanted to play well. Just unfortunate with the opportunity that we've had, and we haven't been able to seize the opportunity. I'm not here to harp on, the negativity or the negative. We had opportunities. We could have played better here. We could have played better there. I mean, that's been throughout the whole season. It's been throughout the whole season. But right now, it's a tough loss.
We need to be better. We need to be a lot better. Happy with the fight we showed in the fourth quarter, but that's where we're at in the season. That's the desperation that we need to start the game with.
How do you guys turn this around?
I'm honestly not even sure. Obviously something wrong with this team, and it's up to us to try to fix it. But not really sure right now.
Add this loss to the league-worst Suns, to a pile of defeats to cellar dwellers like Cleveland, Atlanta, Memphis, and New York this season. 2 sources told ESPN late Saturday that the team hasn't had any discussions yet about replacing Luke Walton. So the march continues. Where to? It looks like another missed postseason.
Wow, Kuzma, there's a problem with this team. Yeah, the problem is losing to the Suns at a 190 win percentage. That's the worst win percentage to beat a LeBron team when he plays in the game, minimum 25 games into a season. And according to BPI, the Lakers have a less than 1% chance to make the playoffs. So the 10th place Lakers, they're teetering.
The Warriors are not taking on the Sixers. There was no Joel Embiid. He did a little working out pregame, but he was unable to go. No Klay Thompson on the other side. But Matt Barry, there was a Scorpion sighting. Scorpion from Mortal Kombat decided that he was going to play in the game. That, of course, is Kevin Durant. He's like, get over here. Had a really, really good game in this one. Backing down Ben Simmons, shoots over Ben Simmons. He had 28 points through the first 3 quarters and 34 on the night. It's a weird game, though. We pick it up in the fourth quarter, and the Warriors are down by 1. Curry only played about 3.5 minutes in the third quarter because he had foul trouble, but when he turned it on in the fourth quarter, he certainly turned it on. There's a three. A few more possessions later, Curry this time decides he'll drive, puts them up by 6. Curry alone, 6 points in the final 2:55 of this game. Pick it up here with the Warriors inbounding. Durant's going to get it and immediately get fouled by Mike Scott, who had a great game, 22 points in Embiid's absence, but Brett Brown's really upset with him. Why? No, don't do that. Sixers down 5 now. Simmons, where's the defense? There was none. So they cut the lead to 3. Simmons, second consecutive triple-double, 25 points, 13 boards, 11 assists. In the final seconds now, Sixers down 3. Simmons fouled by Draymond Green, so Simmons is going to go to the line. He makes the first free throw. He has to intentionally miss the second one. It's not a good intentional miss, though. But they still had a chance, Matt. They still had a chance at those Sixers. Still down by 3. Simmons on the inbound. He'll find Tobias Harris, but Harris, just makes a big mistake and steps out of bounds. Probably wasn't going in anyway. Nevertheless, the Warriors stage a comeback and end up winning this one off. Curry's 28 points, Durant's 34. Brett Brown later asked about his team's miscues down the stretch.
Was Ben instructed to miss that free throw?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we brought in Jonas so we could go bigger. And you got to hit the rim, obviously, to trigger it. There's so much situation stuff that we just really haven't had the chance to go through with our new guys. And, you know, whether it's you need a 3 on a sideline, whether you're trying to miss a free throw and position people around, whether, you know, you want to foul or don't you foul type stuff. Even though these guys are great players and have been around the league a long time, you know, every coaching staff is sort of different, and, you know, some of it isn't their fault, you know, and it's nobody's fault. It's just the fact that we've been with each other for a minute, and at times like that, it rears its head.
Rears its head quite a bit, actually. Sixers have had a lot of issues closing games out, really all season long. In the final 5 minutes, when they're tied or ahead by 5 or fewer, only the Nets have a worse net efficiency rating than Philly does, at least among teams currently in the playoff picture. You know how teams always try to downplay wins right now? Yeah. Not the Warriors last night.
Having lost 2 in a row, being without Clay, without Loon, you know, playing against a great team on the road, definitely one of the best wins of the year.
These feel-good kind of games where you just figure out how to win. It's very kind of playoff-esque, and we want to build that kind of mentality and expectation down the stretch of the season.
A lot of teams kind of racked up on the East Coast, and it's going to be a battle in the playoffs. I'm looking forward to seeing it. You know, we got our work cut out for us on the west side as well, so who knows? It's up in the air this year.
Some numbers with your coffee this morning. Warriors scored 120 points for the 30th time this season. That is 5 more games than any other team in the NBA and already matches their total from all of last season. Golden State also did most of its damage in the third quarter, outscoring the Sixers by 15. That's not really anything new for these Dubs. On the season, they've outscored their opponents by 195 points in the third quarter, which is the best in the